Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are resuming our operation here to take over the remainder of China. We've definitely been making very good progress on this front. I would like to get another corps going, but now is apparently not the time for that. So that seems fine. We just started up our offensive again at the end of last episode. We haven't actually started attacking yet, so all we have to do is proceed forward and let's see how it goes. Okay, so the initial attack went very well, and then it started to turn a little bit, but honestly at this point, all we need to do is we need to work through some of the supplies that they've got in the front. We have sources of more supplies, for now, and they don't. So that's fine. That just means we need to persist on this. Now, one thing I'm wondering, let's see. Combat casualties is starting to go back down again. So can we exert heroism at this point, or is that on cooldown? It's available. We should absolutely be doing that right now. So we'll do that, and now we can see it is slightly going up, so that is good, but not much. It's not going up by much. Okay, we're definitely starting to see these borders shifting quite a lot at this point, particularly back over here, which is ideal. That's absolutely wonderful. There's no victory point up over here, but I am wondering about our supply positionings here. Okay. So I would like to get this rail network here connected to our primary rail network. So I want to make sure that that happens. And I guess we can upgrade this, although it doesn't go anywhere exactly. But we should probably build a hub right here and connect this in like that. And then connect this in over to here, like this. Out this direction, a hub somewhere around here-ish would be pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and start this building here so that it can start building as soon as possible. We're going to be wildly overshooting this hub, right? Like, by the time this gets finished, we're not going to be here anymore. So that's understood, but the reason why I'm still building these here, despite that being the case, is because if a counteroffensive were to start and start pushing us back, I want to have supplies all the way through this to make it really challenging for them. Also, I'm noticing there's a couple over here that are unmotorized. It's not like they're actually going to do anything with this motorization. They're pretty far back. But for the moment, there we go. That'll do. Okay, so we want to continue to push forward out over this direction. No doubt about that. And let's see. Did we just capture a victory point here? Possibly. There's also a victory point here. I think we would build a supply hub up over this way. Ah, this must be a supply hub that we just captured. This is not really hooked up to our existing network, so we should do something like that. Why is this... We just started construction on this. Why is this converting rail gauge? Okay, that's kind of wacky. Oh well. We're just going to continue to push through here, and honestly, China should capitulate very soon. Especially if these two victory points fall. We know that China's incredibly close to capitulation at this time. If we go in here and look, how close is Japan? Well, they're nowhere near. That's not surprising. Manchukuo is actually getting kind of close, so that's good to know. But the Chinese Constitutional Republic, they're 78% towards capitulation, so that's absolutely noted. We'll just continue pushing towards Nanjing, and this will be wonderful. We're having a bit of a hard time pushing into Guangzhou, and that's understood. Eventually that'll happen. I am a little worried about Coast Guard up over this way. It's going to be a lot of coastline to hold. No doubt about that. The British Empire broke our ciphers, which reminds me, we haven't been working on this again. Okay, let's grab machine-assisted decryption. That'll be fine. Cool. I want to take a look at what we might have going on the infrastructure front. Okay, we should definitely get a couple of infrastructures going here, and let's just place these down in the pile of infrastructure. That'll be fine. And as we can see, we're starting to get an encirclement going over here. So, I mean, actually, we're about to take Guangzhou. Yeah, that's about to fall. So that looks good. Up over this direction, I want to see how close we're getting to this line. I want to dig in on this line, so as we take portions of it, I'm going to queue up forts there, because that's going to be our demarcation line for our next series of operations, which our next operation would likely be swinging this out from being here and using, like, this as a pivot point. So we would swing from, like, here to here or so, and hold a line there, taking over all of Korea at the same time. But we're not there yet. So that'll take a little time to get there. That's absolutely fine. Now, Guangzhou is definitely falling. I'm going to attack here to hold these guys in place. Guangzhou has now fallen. Perfect. And Hong Kong is going to get cut off. Where's this raid? Republic of Turkey is raiding up over here. That's interesting. I do not think that we have any air coverage here. Correct, we do not. So we'll get that going. That's fine for now. We have a lot of places where we don't have any anti-air built. That's okay. I do want to check, though, do we have anywhere in these new areas that we've taken where we can actually build any civilian factories? The answer is no. Okay. So that's noted. This is now encircled at this point. So I want to grab tanks that are assigned to this and tell them, get in here and take Hong Kong right now. Okay, so that looks good. You can get in here and get that cleaned up. Manchukuo just capitulated. So that's not really going to change our front line in any meaningful way. This is going to fall, and we're not able to get to that. So it's pretty much just going to remain as is. However, I'm going to delete this order. You might think that's a little strange, but I'm going to move it slightly forward. So we're going to grab our offensive line, and I now want our offensive line to go down here and then take up a position on this side of this river. Like that. That is our new offensive goal. So we'll keep working on that, and Manchukuo capitulating is great and all, but what we really want to see here is China capitulate. So that's fine. These have both fallen, and I want to check in on our supply situation here. We're almost certainly... Actually, there's a couple of hubs here, but yeah, I think that we should have a supply hub here, a supply hub here. There's one here already. I think that's okay. We should definitely have a connection linking this. And then up over this way, there's a supply hub here. So this isn't so bad on the supply front. We'll do something like that for now to make sure that that has a connection. Upgrade this to level 5 and bring a rail line down like that. This can go up to level 5. This can go up to level 5. And then otherwise, I mean, we're going to have some rail gauge conversion down over here, but we should definitely run a rail line like so. And then up to here, and then over to here, about like that. So that'll do for now. We can get some motorization going here, but I want to move all of these up. There we go. And as you can see, we're falling behind on our supply construction. Hang on, this is a level 1 railway here? Let's boost that up. And get a connection going like this as well. There, that'll do. So we'll get those moved right on up. And I do want to get some motorization done. So we need to come out over here, motorize this hub. This hub should be motorized. Do we even want this hub here, though? Honestly? No. I'm going to cancel this hub. We're not very far along on its construction, and with these hubs that we captured, I think we're in a better position anyway. So this is fine. We'll motorize this hub and this one, and both of these two. So that seems fine. And then we will proceed here. Although I want to check to see how close China is. Oh, they're so close to capitulation. Okay, so we need just a couple more victory points. We're right on the border of Wuhan, so that looks good. We should have that very soon in theory. Enemy raids executed up here. Okay, so they successfully raided our dam up over this way. That's understood. We really didn't have enough time to build any anti-air up there, which is kind of wild, but okay. I mean, we'll get our anti-air built eventually. So over this way, I want this tank to get in here and just get this guy stack wiped. Let's get that cleaned up. There's also the supply hub right over here, and I want to check in on the rail situation there. Okay, so that means that this supply hub is no longer necessary. Let's get rid of that and make sure that we've got a rail connection like so. Okay, that looks good. This is stack wiped and cleaned up. Perfect. Okay, everything looks very, very good on this push for right now. Honestly, the Chinese Constitutional Republic is going to capitulate fairly soon. Yeah, our manpower is a little on the low side, but we're still making a lot of progress here, actually. So we're still exerting heroism. What I'm wondering right now is coring. 8 days? Okay, we'll wait it out. And we'll get another one of these cores going as soon as that's done. Japan decrypted our ciphers. That's very rude. So we're just waiting here for a couple more days. Actually, I'm just going to get it started. We're going to be on a bit of a factory malice. Not a big one, but a bit of one for just a couple days. It's okay. That seems absolutely fine. I am definitely still worried about our Coast Guard, though. That is a concern going forward. So, to that end, we can see that this army is the one that's supposed to be responsible for all of this up over here. That's going to be too much. We can see that they already have minimum divisions of 60, and they need a lot more divisions than what they have. So how's our training going? Well, I was under the impression that we were still going to be training those 12 units. Okay. We should probably bring this up to like 24 at once. This is going to be hellacious on our manpower, but let's do that. We need to recruit a lot of units. Now, we could have another weaker division type that is designed just to be Coast Guard. That would probably be more efficient, but it would also require work. So we're going to hold off on that, and we're just going to get those 24 units recruiting. And this should be on Infinite? Yes, that's what we want right now. So we're heavily recruiting specifically for the Coast Guard. Okay, so we have a prototype decision available here. Do we want to be a bit stealthier, a bit less prone to explode, or a bit longer range? Honestly, let's take the reliability. So that looks good. This enemy raid was executed. Yes, that's understood. And we can just go immediately for the multi-charge large caliber gun. Okay. So that seems fine. We're not quite up to our demarcation line up over here yet. We'll get there fairly soon, though. We're making solid progress there. Okay, so we're up to this river here, and we're still making good progress up in Beijing. We're very, very close at this point to linking up with these lads. And once we do, these will be able to join this Coast Guard. I think that's what we're going to do with them. Because we really need to get them elsewhere, right? They've got a bit of problem here, as it is, but this is a lot of troops. This is 48 troops. We can get those put very easily into here, and that would bring them up to 68 out of 72. That's a lot more, so that'll be good. So we'll just continue to push in over here. This is held by Japan directly? Yes, noted. I'm a little surprised we haven't really been attacking Wuhan yet. This is really heavily focusing the north. Okay. I mean, that's fine. But I would like to attack more in the south, to be honest. We could select just the army here. So this is... What army is this that's assigned here? Well, we could select just this army and give this a separate offensive line, with its goal being to take Nanjing, Suzhou, and Shanghai like this. This would cause a capitulation, 100%. So let's go ahead and let them get started on that. This attack is going to be marginally successful, but we just need to grind away at it and push in. So that'll be absolutely wonderful. We're being much more successful up in the north here, and yeah, this is fine. This is mostly because we weren't attacking down here for a while. So we've got these 2 military districts. They're going to help in the Coast Guard because our Coast Guard needs a lot of help. No doubt about that. So this would definitely cause a capitulation of the Chinese Constitutional Republic. There are a lot of Japanese forces over here, and this is going to be a giant mess when the Chinese Constitutional Republic capitulates. So that's something we need to think about. It's going to be huge. Okay, there's a naval invasion happening up over here. No shockers there. They're just naval invading from here. This is not going to be a big threat once this is taken care of. So that seems good. Ah, we're almost to the demarcation line up here. That looks great. So we are having some supply issues up over here, I'm noticing. So yeah, a supply hub right here would be ideal. I'm going to have one here as well. There's one here, so that's certainly noted. And we're going to need to upgrade some of these rail lines. We're going to need to build a new set of rail lines over here. They can just connect in something kind of like that. This can go up to a level 5 rail line. And then do we want to have... There's a supply hub right here. So for the moment, I think that's fine. Let's just take a rail line down over this way. Like that. That looks good. And then down here, we've got a decent number of supply lines. This can get linked in here, which means that this hub right here does not need to be worked on because there's a hub right there. So that seems okay. We'll get this linked up over this way. And then up here, I think this is fine for the moment. So let's get some of these that we've recently taken motorized. So we know that there's a hub here, and we can motorize that up. There's a dockyard here and here. Both of those can get motorized. And then up over this direction, there's this hub that can get motorized. And this hub. So that'll help a lot with our supply situation up over here. That looks good. So we're about to get this cut off here. And this is about to turn into 2 fronts. So with that in mind, again, we're going to have some messes going on here very, very soon. Wuhan has not yet fallen, and I don't think it's just Wuhan that needs to fall for the Chinese to surrender here. 28% and will capitulate when it has 20% or less. So taking 1 victory point is probably not going to do it, but we'll see. We're definitely making progress towards the sea over here. That looks good. And we could have this force start trying to break out here, but I don't really see a reason to do so. I think it's fine as it is. They can just continue to sit here. So we've got 2 modern tank brigades. I want to put those out over here. Excellent. And at this point, everything is looking great in this offensive. I'm very pleased with how this is going. If we take this, that's going to be our first demarcation line point. So that would be phenomenal. We'd love it. The 36th heavy ship, huh? Okay. Well, we're still working on a lot of these researches, and we can grab the improved airplane catapult. That'll be absolutely fine. Okay. It looks like we're about to take the first point on the line here. Yes, we got it. So what I want to do is I want to, as a priority, build land forts right there on that line. That's going to be our hold line for a while we get all this cleaned up and while we get reorganized for another push. And we might even think about something out over here, although what are we even doing here, folks? Our Coast Guard messed things up pretty badly over here, but there's not really that much going on. Although, to be honest, I don't want these both to attack this. I want just one. And then you can support the attack. We're just interested in stack wiping this. It's fine. So this is now cut off into 2 separate fronts. That is absolutely understood. So I'm wondering about their ability to get supplies in here. So at this point, this is a narrow corridor. They've got this right here, and of course they've got a victory point here. So Tianjin is here. They've got a naval base here. So if we were to cut this off, in terms of their ability to get supplies down here, they've got some victory points. And they've got a naval base here, here, and here. And that's it. That's all they've got for supplies here. They now have no land route for supplies, and that's a very big deal. So I want to grab... Well, actually, I think we'll just leave this be. Because this is going to be a little awkward, for sure. Our cipher has been broken by the enemy, sure. And I'd like to attack here, and I'd like to attack here as well. I just saw a stack wipe here. That's wild. I would have expected them to retreat. But okay, we'll take it. Let's support this attack right here. Deck conversions finishing up, and at this point, we can go for the 1940 heavy ship. Looks great. Okay, so we just took this naval base. That's a big deal. We do need to see about getting some of this stuff upgraded. So I'm just looking in this area. I want a rail connection here, and I want a rail connection coming up over this direction, kind of like that. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then we'll need to get some more upgrades going here. We've got a lot of work that still needs to happen over here. Actually, this is a water connection here. Let's just get this connected into our rail network like that, and sure. I don't love the way that this went, but that's fine. Okay, motorization of these out over here will, of course, be very useful for us, so we'll get that done. And motorization of this as well. So that looks fine for the moment, and down over here, here's a supply hub that we just captured. That looks great, too. So we need to get more rail queued up down here, it looks like. We definitely need to get a rail line here and here, upgrade this rail line, come on in here like this, and upgrade that rail line. And then the question is, do we want to put a supply hub over here? And the answer is yes. Yes, we do. I want to put a supply hub right there, and we'll just get that linked up like so. And then that'll connect in over here, but I'm also going to do a connection down like that. Okay, so that looks good. Where are our existing supply hubs in here? Yeah, these need to be brought up. There we go. So something along the lines of that should do for now. We just got to get these logistics under control, right? So that looks good. And we'll just continue to press in towards our demarcation line. We just took another position here, so I want to make sure that we are digging in these land forts. This is not quite on the front, so that looks good. Okay, we're about to take this position. There we go. We got it. Next up, of course, we need a land fort there. So that looks great. We're just going to dig that in while we get this all cleaned up, and we'll strike from a point of strength out over this way. There's a mine out over here. Actually, I haven't looked at the resources. 103. Okay, that's very nice. We're going to get access to a lot of steel out of this, and that's going to be very, very good, for sure. We don't need to pay dividends yet, so we'll keep an eye on that scenario. Okay, so we're just continuing to push our way up over here. That's going to finish fairly soon. Autosave occurring. There we go. And we're just continuing to head up here. Now, we know that they're not going to really be able to get supplies in once the Chinese capitulate. Which they're 98% towards capitulation right now. Do they have another victory point nearby? There's one right here, Xingzhou. So that's understood. We just finished a special project. Let's get another one going. Do we have another available one? No, we don't. Cool. So that all looks absolutely fine. China's going to capitulate very, very, very soon. Any moment now. We basically just need a victory point. I'm going to order this attack here, and we'll see how it goes. Actually, it's going very well. That should cause them to capitulate. That's going to be a huge number of the troops over here that just go away. They not capitulate from that? They're 100% towards capitulation. There they go. Okay, so they just capitulated, and as you can see, it made a giant mess. We fully expected that it would do this, and we need to deal with it at this point. So I'm going to order these guys to launch an attack like so, and their goal is to just push out and take some of this territory. So we're going to attack here and here and here and here like this. We're also going to have these guys up here launch a pretty major offensive through here. There we go. And then we're going to try to push in over, not like that. Yep, through there. Okay. So that seems relatively fine for now. I want to grab these guys over here. So these are the tanks here. They're going to come in like this, and then I want to grab the infantry that are here, and their goal is going to be to attack like that. But this is going to be a huge, huge mess. Okay. So we definitely need to get some of this taken care of. Go ahead and attack here and get in there. So that's all relatively fine. We need to get this cleaned up very quickly, though. So this is now isolated up over here. That looks very good. We now have Japan with no ability to provide supplies to their troops here. So that is excellent. We're going to continue to push down over here. They've still got this, but, you know, there's only so much that they can do, right? So we're going to head in over this way, and I'm going to move everyone to aggressively executing battle plans, but I don't actually want to attack up here, is the thing. And I'm noticing that this is kind of broken at this point. I'm going to delete that, and that means that we are going to be attacking up here, though, and we really don't want to be doing that. Okay. Cease attack. Cease attack. Thank you. And you can cease attack as well. And you can cease attack. Okay. So that's fine for now. We are going to go to this river, but I want to get all this cleaned up. That's our current mission. So that's underway. And down over this direction, apparently someone is trying to land here. It's a little awkward. This is stack wipe, so that's good. And these guys are just walking into here. Yeah, that seems fine. We're going to continue to redeploy up to the north. And there's definitely some territory out over here. Like I said, huge, huge, huge mess. Which we fully expect. But this is not going to be a huge problem to deal with. So I want these guys to just kind of come through here. And then I want these guys to just kind of come through like this. And you can attack here. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time with that, but I just want to keep them busy for the moment. Okay, so we've got these areas relatively encircled right now. Everything's looking good. I want to grab anyone who is up over here and tell them, just wipe this pocket. Okay. I want these guys over here wiping this pocket as well. We can see that they're starting to stack wipe. That looks perfect. Up over this direction, we have these forces here and launch an attack right here. They have no access to supplies here, remember. So I want to grab anyone assigned to this and tell them, get on in here. Launch a full-blown attack here. We just want to get all of this cleaned up. So that's looking good for now. We've got 5 tanks here. Get in there. And up over this direction, we're going to need to get some things done up here as well. I'd like to grab these tanks that don't currently have orders, which I think is all of them up here, or very close to all of them. Or at least they don't have supplies. I want them to be on an offensive line like that. Okay, go ahead and execute that. And we'll see about taking that demarcation line. Now, we do still need to queue up some land forts up over this way. And that's absolutely fine. We will do that. Okay. So everything's looking good here. I want to eliminate this unit. That's outside of our primary containment zone. So we definitely want to do that. And then there's these guys over here, which are very, very awkward. I'd like to bring these forces over, and this unit can come over too. These guys don't really have the organization to fight, but we can do something kind of like this. Okay, so that's looking fine for now. We've just about got this giant mess cleaned up. This was not as big of a mess as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a much more extensive mess. It's still a pretty big mess. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so all of these guys should be attacking here. And let's see if they'll stack wipe. We don't have anyone over here, so that could be interesting. And we've just about got this cleaned up now. Huge encirclements going on, though, of course. Okay, beautiful. This is cleaned. This is cleaned. This is the only remaining pocket at this point. I'm going to grab everyone here and tell them, get in here. And get in here. We're just hard attacking right now. So if we check in here, we can see our recruitable monthly growth is 21.88k. That's not bad. I like it. They're down to 2 pockets now. Look at that, 12 units here. I like it. And there's actually more. There's some retreating units nearby. So that's going to go very poorly for them, of course. And now everybody's just going to come in here, cleaning up this last little pocket, and then we'll redeploy everyone up to this front. So that looks good. Okay, so our Chinese theater is going to cease to exist here pretty soon. I might leave these guys here because they get attacked a lot from over here. I don't know. We might redeploy them, though. If we were to do that, all of these would go into this Coast Guard, and they would still be responsible for this broad area, right? So we just do something like that. And at this point, how many do we need? Minimum divisions of 80. Okay. So this does not include this area up here, and for now, I'm going to have it include all of this. This is too much. This is too much for them to handle. That's understood. We'll come back and redo the Coast Guard fairly soon. We need to do a big workover of the logistics in this region, and we've got a lot of work to do to get all of China dealt with, right? There's no doubt about that. This is broken again. This keeps flipping around its directionality, which I'm not a fan of. Why don't you just come in here and here and here and here for now? We'll just see about pushing those out of there. Okay. I don't really want an attack here. Don't bother with that. We just want to take up to the river. So that seems good. I want to push in here. And then once our tanks arrive up here, we'll push in here as well. We're just about to the point where we want to be. Just about there. They're moving more forces in over here, but to what end? Like, they're not going to be able to do this. So now we want to attack here, and I'm going to grab all but one of these. There we go. So we'll just get them pushed on out of there. Logistics up in this area are going to be rough, but this is where we're going to be halting our operation for the time being. We're going to reorganize. We're going to get our logistics set up, and we're going to deal with all of this China that we just took over. So I guess we have here now. That's a little awkward. That's not where we intended to be, but I'm also going to build right behind this river. So that seems fine for now. So that's a bunch of land forts there. We're going to need a bunch of logistics hubs. We're going to need a bunch of infrastructure. Okay, that's a lot of infrastructure that we're going to need. So I'm just going to go through and queue all of that up, but it is about time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to, actually it's past time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to get working on all of this. Ooh, I took that the wrong direction. Okay, we're going to get working on all of this nonsense that we need to work on here. Okay, I wanted to do something like that. There we go. That should work absolutely fine. So we're going to need to work on our logistics. This is going to be a mess out over here. It's not that bad, actually. But it could definitely be a lot better. So we're going to work on the logistics out over here. We're going to work on getting China a little bit more under control and digging in a front line here. Or rather, like, digging in a fallback line here before we continue to push on this offensive. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Aurelio, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.